Hi everyone, so I finished another section of this book, the 21 most powerful minutes in a leader's day. And the thought for today was leaders find purpose in the needs around them. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29:18. So basically it's talking about how when we look at the Bible, we see Nehemiah's call and Nehemiah's project to build this wall that he wanted to build for Israel. And he took 52 days to rebuild a wall that had been in ruins for 120 years. And that's a short amount of time because he had the right people around him and he had a vision. He knew what he wanted to do, what he wanted to accomplish. And he didn't discover his purpose until he was confronted with a problem. So many times life is like that. Until we encounter the problem, we don't know what it is that we are supposed to do or how it is that we are supposed to help others. So for me, in coming to Canada, it's the burden of being an immigrant. It's the burden of people not believing in me, not wanting to help me, not wanting to see me succeed. It's the burden of having that antagonistic attitude of people who have been born here, who have had the privileges of not being made a refugee, not being forced to leave their country, not being people who grew up in the middle of a civil war, and then telling me I have an attitude of entitlement, or telling me no one told you to go and do your master's, you did it, so you get on with it. It's that very unsupportive environment that you encounter when you come here. So the burden on me then becomes to persist and to cement my conviction that I can do it, I can accomplish, I can overcome, and the barriers and the challenges that are put in my way, I can help other people to not have to go through the same struggles I went through. So you have two kinds of people in the world. You have the kind of people that say, I had to do it on my own, so I'm not going to help you, I'm not going to leave any legacy for you. I did it, so now you go and do it. Go and learn on your own, take the recipe books, go and do it. Even if somebody taught them and somebody said, come here, come watch, come see how I'm doing it, I'll help you, I'll get somebody to make sure that you have somebody to shadow, they'll still put you and say there, or throw you in the pool and say there, swim. And if you drown, that's your fault. Who is it? Why should I bother? Why should I care? So the other type of person will say, no, just wait. Like, look at the safety, look at the precautions. Let's get somebody that you can shadow. Let somebody that have an apprenticeship, and we'll nurture you, we'll help you on the journey. Unfortunately, all of my experiences in Canada before I joined Teleperformance were all the opposite. I did not have any training, I did not have any shadowing, I did not have anybody there to say, okay, at least for the first year, you're going to need this kind of hand-holding when you come into Canada. I didn't have any of that. So I was just expected to get on with it and do it. And it's not the same as if you grow up in a country and you live there. You might have all the same challenges of racism, of apartheid, of coming against a culture where there's a dominant culture, but you're not dealing with the same things because you have your community around you, you have people around you that care for you, you have people that know you, you have people who include you in family gatherings or parties or events, and that's a very different experience to having to do it on your own. So the things that I focus on when I mentor others, when I help others, when others shadow me, I focus on helping them to understand the barriers and helping them to understand who they are dealing with. They call it reading the room. When you're dealing with people over the phones, I tell them what to watch for, what the dangers are, the inflections of the voice, the culture. I shadow people or I mentor people on all those things. When I mentor people who are coming here from other countries, I tell them how to navigate, what to do. I provide references if they need it. I help them to get breaks in different companies. So what others didn't do for me, I do for others. And so that's part of my journey. And what need around you stirs your heart? I guess that's the need that stirs my heart, because I have been very, very hurt by this Canadian experience. And it has not been a positive experience for me, because when I came here, I thought I'm going to land a good job, I'm going to stay in one company, I'm going to work there, I'll get opportunities for promotions, for good paying jobs, I'll have opportunities to continue to grow in my field, and I'll have people feeding into me. I'll get support to do my training, to retrain, to get Canadian qualifications. I got none of that, none of the support. I didn't get dental benefits, I didn't get any healthcare benefits, I didn't get any of that. I had it for 4 years when I worked at TD Securities, and after that I had nothing. So even like my teeth, I'm probably going to land up like my mom. My mother's journey is very similar to mine, except that I wasn't married and I didn't have children. But there was no support. So we were her support, even if she didn't see it. And, you know, it's your teeth. You can't go and get your teeth done because dental coverage is expensive in Canada. If you need medications, your basic is covered, but then if you need medications over the counter, you have to pay for those. So I didn't have any of that. When my glasses broke, I couldn't replace them. I wore those same glasses until 5 years ago. I couldn't see through them, they were scratched, they were old, they were broken. I still wore them because I couldn't afford to go and get my eyes taken care of and get a new pair of glasses. So, you know, it's not as simple as saying, oh, well, you know, we also dealt with racism. We also dealt with all the things you're dealing with, because maybe you did, but you were not completely alone. You had generations behind you. You had your parents with you, you had grandparents, you had your spouses, you had people to open doors. Today I watched the inductions into the tennis Hall of Fame, International Hall of Fame, and it was very moving for me to see 2 Indians selected for that. It was very moving for me. I had tears in my eyes, because it means a lot to see somebody from India selected into that, because it gives hope for other people, and that the contributions that have been made are noted, and also the winnings, who they played with. It's important for me. And it was nice to watch it. They had their children there to present the awards to them. So that was also nice. So that's how it happens. When you get selected to these things, and it's the parents. Because of the parents, the children get the opportunities. If there's no support from the parents, the children don't get those opportunities. The doors don't open. But because the parents have the network, the parents have the opportunities, then their children will get to know the people at the top. They'll get to know who's who in the community. And through them, those opportunities will come. For me, I didn't have anybody to open those doors for me. Not in England, not in South Africa. In South Africa, my professor helped me, Matthew Grossett. He put in a word for me, and he put out feelers for me, and that's how I got my job at Johannesburg Child Welfare. But then I wanted to come to North America. I wanted to be with the family. But the family left me out of everything. When I won my award for the Canada 150 award, I invited my friend or my colleague. I invited her because everybody else was too busy with their own lives. Maybe next time, not this time, maybe next time. So that's how I've been treated, just in general. It's always been that way. And it's always like, why do you want to go and get your master's? What do you think you're going to do with that? Why do you want to study? I wouldn't suggest that you even think about going to university. I never got any scholarships to go to university. I worked and studied. I paid for my tickets to go from South Africa to Zimbabwe. I paid my mother board and lodge when I was at home. My mother paid for a ticket for me. I repaid her as soon as I got home. So I didn't have it easy. I walked sometimes when I used to take the bus to go see my sister. I used to walk from the GO station sometimes to their place. So it wasn't easy for me. And even if you look at my feet, my brother-in-law's mother says to me, look at your feet. I said to her, yeah, well, I had to walk. I walked a lot, even when I was small. So that's how it goes. And, unless there's that support from the family or from people like me who have good hearts and kind hearts, families don't come up. I've mentioned before, I've taken many people into the church, into our parish here. I've helped people get their children into Catholic schools because you have to go through the priest. So if they join our parish, then the priest can help them to get them into Catholic schools. So I've done that. I've mentored people, women and men, who have wanted to get into human resources. I've helped them. I've connected them with recruitment agencies. So I've done a lot. But I haven't had that same support for my dreams, for my goals, for my accomplishments. I wanted to work in consulting. That's where I wanted to work, in EY or Deloitte or one of those firms. But I've changed now because I don't have that desire anymore. I mean, if I get it, it's nice, but if I don't, I have a passion for helping the poor. I have a passion for not this cutthroat kind of world that it's become. I'm not interested in that kind of thing. So life is what you make of it, I guess, but it's also harder for some of us than for others. I mean, I'd like to get a job where I can go and get my teeth cleaned once a year, or I can go and have my dental work done, but I don't have that option. And not everybody gets those options in life. You'll find in one family, you'll have 3 children, 2 of them will have cars and houses and properties, and 1 won't. And that's the case with me. I'm the one that went to university. I'm the one that sponsored my mother. I'm the one that brought her to Canada. I'm the one that went and met with Mr. Volpe. I'm the one that took on all the burdens, and I didn't get any of the rewards. So, I mean, I don't know. I was just saying today, I sure hope that when I get to the pearly gates, God doesn't say, oh, sorry, your contract is up. You go the other way. Because it's not easy. It's not an easy journey here on earth. And it's not easy for anyone, but for some of us it's harder than it is for others. So if you've lived in a country your whole life, if you've gotten married and your marriage has worked out, if you have children, those are all things to be grateful for. I'm very grateful that God has given me my health and that I'm able to work and I'm able to hold a job. Because every job I've lost is not because of something I did. It's either they cut the budget or they didn't like how somebody else did something. I mean, one time they let me go from CIBC. They kept me all along, and then the guy told me, I don't like your approach. All of a sudden. I was like, what is going on? Then the recruiter told me, oh no, they cut their budget. So they didn't know how to tell you. So this is how it is here. But anyway, that's the burden, and then we have to continue. We have to make the most of our lives. And when I'm not working, I try not to waste my days. For me, my life was wasted here, as far as I'm concerned. But I try to make the most of it. I try to help others. I go up to the pool, I swim, I go for my walks, I go online, I apply for jobs, I walk the streets looking for jobs. At least once a week I walk the streets looking for jobs. And I just give thanks that I've got a roof over my head, I've got a nice place to live. I do all the things that I can do which are within my control. And I distance myself from people who tell me you can't hold a job, you're the problem. Why do you want to study? What is your problem? When they've had those same opportunities to study, and through their friends they've had full scholarships to go and work in America, to go and work on camps, yet when I want to do those same things, there's always this animosity. It's always, what's wrong with you? Why do you want to go and work on the camp? So why would you want those things only for yourself, but you wouldn't want them for others? I think it's very sad, because I look at people and see what they've done, and I'm like, why can't I do that? If they could do it, why can't I do it? And why can't I do better? And that's what even my nieces do. They'll look at me and say, oh, you did that, so why can't we also do it? And that's the way it should be. And they should be able to accomplish more than me and do better than me in life. But anyway, that's the burden, and God brings the problem, God brings the burden, and then we find the solution. And with His blessings, what we can accomplish will be even greater than we could even imagine. Hopefully we can be like the Elvis Presleys, young kids who accomplish more than anybody ever thought possible, with God's grace and God's blessing.